They say vampires can't enter your home unless invited. I wish to God that were true. I had just moved to Charleston. New job, new apartment. A crappy one-bedroom above a hardware store that reeked of turpentine and had radiators that hissed like angry cats. But it was cheap, and after my last breakup, I wasn't in the mood to be picky. I just wanted somewhere quiet to disappear into. The first time I saw her was from the fire escape. I was smoking, don't judge, I've quit since, and she was standing on the rooftop across the alley, long black hair blowing in the breeze, her face turned up to the stars like she was praying to them. I thought maybe she was a model or some kind of performer. She had that otherworldly kind of beauty that makes your chest feel tight. When she turned to look at me, her eyes seemed to catch the moonlight, and she smiled. The next night she was closer, one floor down. Then night after, standing behind a dumpster near the loading bay. Each night just a little nearer. I didn't feel fear at first, just fascination. I'd grown up on vampire movies and horror games, but none of it felt real. She didn't look like a monster. She looked beautiful, dressed in shadows. And when I saw her again, this time just below my fire escape, I called out without thinking. "Hey, you live around here?" She said nothing, but smiled again and walked away. That night, I dreamed she stood at the foot of my bed, not touching me, just watching. I woke up cold and stiff, like I'd been sleeping in a freezer. The windows were shut. The door was locked, but I still checked under the bed like a kid. The next evening, there was a knock on the door. I was microwaving soup and almost didn't hear it. When I opened it, she was standing there, close enough to smell the rain in her hair.
"Can I come in?"
she asked softly. I nodded. She stepped inside, barefoot, not a sound from her feet. She moved like water, glided through my apartment like she'd been there 100 times. I asked her name. She tilted her head again, eyes shining.
"I had one, long ago,
"Where are you from?" I asked. She smiled.
just from below."
Then she smiled again. That same smile, the one that felt like drowning. I tried to laugh it off, offered her wine. She declined.
"I'm not here to drink, not yet."
That night I didn't sleep. Her presence lingered in the air like ozone after lightning. I kept checking the mirror, half expecting to not see myself. I even cut my hand while shaving, and for a horrifying second, I found myself licking the blood instead of rinsing it. It tasted good, too good. She came again the next night. No knock this time, just in the room, standing beside the window. I don't know how she got in. My doors were locked, my windows sealed. "Why me?" I asked, shivering under the covers.
"Because you have a hollow space. I can feel it."
I started to cry, not sure why. Her words hit something deep, something I hadn't even admitted to myself. Grief, loneliness, that gnawing emptiness I drowned with scrolling and beer. She climbed into bed beside me, ice against my skin. She touched my chest, and the cold seeped into my bones. Her lips brushed my neck, and I let her. God help me, I let her. The bite didn't hurt, not at first. It was like falling asleep mid-sentence, like exhaling into snow. I woke up the next afternoon, pale, dry-mouthed, starving, but not for food. My fridge was full. I ate an entire rotisserie chicken and vomited it up within minutes. Water tasted like ash, beer like poison, but the thought of blood. I walked to the mirror. My eyes were different, wider, hungrier. Something behind them flickered. I was changing. She came again that night, kissed my eyelids.
"One more sip, and you'll see the world as I do."
I begged her to stop.
"You opened the door. You invited me."
I told her I never said the words.
You didn't need to. Wanting is enough.
She whispered. I tried to fight it. I got on a bus, went a couple of towns over, rented a motel room with flickering lights and dead bugs on the windowsill. Tried to wait it out. She found me anyway. She was in the corner when I turned on the light, her hair dripping wet like she'd crawled from a lake, her dress full of leaves.
You can't outrun thirst,
she said. She was right. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't fed. I won't. I've boarded the windows, nailed the door shut. I burn incense to cover the scent of my skin. I leave notes in my mailbox, warnings to others. It doesn't happen all at once. The thirst builds slowly. It wraps around your soul like a vine. You think you're still you, until you aren't. Then you pound the streets at night, looking to drink the blood of your victims. I never believed in vampires. Not really. Even now, I wish I didn't. I wish I could explain it all away, chalk it up to madness, fevered dreams, or some psychotic break. But the scars on my throat, the trembling in my hands, the sound of footsteps pacing above me even when the attic's empty, none of that goes away. And I remember everything. It started with an old house. Don't they always? I'd been going through a rough patch, divorce, job loss, the kind of double whammy that leaves a man looking for something, anything, to reclaim some dignity. So when I found that old Victorian manor upstate going for a song, I snapped it up. Needed work, rotting wood, broken windows, a roof that groaned when the wind shifted. But I told myself it was a project, something to focus on. The townspeople called it the Norrell House, had a reputation, whispered stories about the previous owner, a recluse named Elias Norrell who'd vanished 50 years ago. Left one night and never came back. The attic was the only part I didn't explore right away. The door at the top of the stairs was locked, warped with age. I figured I'd get to it later. There were more immediate things, leaks, wiring, the basement, which flooded if I so much as sneezed in its direction. For the first few weeks, the place was just a money pit. But then the dreams started. Always the same. I'd be lying in bed, unable to move, heart thudding in my chest. The air grew cold. Then I'd hear it, a slow creak, like wood bending under weight. Footsteps from the attic, soft and deliberate. They'd move across the ceiling, stopping directly above me. Then silence, until I woke gasping, soaked in sweat. At first I blamed stress, new place, isolation, too many late-night beers. But after the third night, I started noticing things. My tools weren't where I left them. My phone would show photos I never took, dark, grainy shots of my bedroom from above. And then came the smell. Sweet at first, like rotting fruit, then metallic. I'd find flies buzzing in the hallway beneath the attic door. I should have left. I know that. But the house had taken hold of me. I was obsessed with it, obsessed with the attic. I began prying at the door, night after night. One stormy evening, lightning cracked across the sky, and I found myself at the top of the stairs, crowbar in hand, heart hammering. The door groaned open with a noise like a scream. The smell hit me first. Decay, centuries old. Then the dark. I swept my flashlight around, revealing dust-thick beams, cobwebs hanging like curtains, and in the corner, a trunk. Ornate, old, the kind you see in pirate movies. I knelt, hands trembling, and opened it. Inside, beneath layers of velvet and parchment, lay a coffin. A prop, a prank, some macabre heirloom, that's what I told myself as I leaned closer. The smell worsened. My flashlight flickered. I saw movement. Then eyes. They opened, clouded, red, unfocused. The lid creaked open, and I saw his face, pale, lips cracked and black. long, filthy fingernails curled like claws. He blinked once, then smiled. Fangs. Not teeth. Fangs. I ran. Down the stairs, out of the house. I drove all night to a motel 3 towns over. The next day, I returned with garlic, crosses, holy water, every cliché I could get my hands on. The attic was empty. But he came that night. I woke to the sound of glass breaking, the smell of old blood. My bedroom window shattered inward. I reached for the flashlight. Gone. And then he was there. In the corner, hunched, eyes gleaming like coals.
I was so hungry,
he whispered. His voice was dry paper over bone.
Thank you for waking me.
I screamed. He was on me in an instant, cold hands around my throat, breath like a crypt. He bit. The pain was lightning, searing, drilling into my spine. I blacked out. I awoke 3 days later, in my bed, wounds bandaged. No ambulance, no neighbors. I should have died, but I hadn't. He hadn't finished me. Why? He wanted something worse. Now he comes every night. I hear him whispering in the walls, in the air vents.
Drink,
he says.
Sleep.
My appetite's gone. My skin's pale. I can't go outside during the day. It burns. My eyes ache in sunlight. And worst of all, I'm beginning to crave it. Blood, the taste, the scent. I've tried to leave. Car won't start. Roads loop back. Phones die. He has me. The attic door is open again. I hear footsteps above me. They never stop now. He's pacing, waiting, watching. I'm changing. I know it. My reflection fades more each morning. I see people on the street and feel their pulse before I hear their words. I dream of forests soaked in blood. Don't come looking for me. Burn the house. Burn the town if you must. There's a hunger in this place, and it's spreading. He's not just a vampire. He's the master, and I'm the servant, and you will be next. They warned me not to buy the farmhouse, said it had a history. But when you're broke, recently laid off, and drowning in debt, you don't ask too many questions. You sign the papers, take the keys, and pretend the air doesn't feel too still, too heavy when you step inside. It was old, weather-beaten shingles, creaking floorboards, wallpaper faded to the color of old bones. But it was mine, and for the first few days, that was enough. Then I heard the knocking. It started at night, always from the cellar door. Soft at first, barely noticeable, like the wind brushing branches against a window. I ignored it. The second night, it got louder, rhythmic, deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. 3 short taps, then silence. I figured it was an animal. Raccoon, maybe. Rats. I wasn't about to open that rotted door and find out. I shoved a chair in front of it and went to bed. On the third night, the knocking came with a voice.
I'm cold.
I sat up in bed, heart hammering. It wasn't loud, barely a whisper, but it was clear, right below my feet, right under the floorboards.
And so thirsty.
I slept with the lights on, didn't sleep much at all. By the 4th day, I was unraveling. I called the realtor, asked about the previous owners. She hesitated before telling me the last occupant was a man named Everett Kane, lived alone, disappeared in 1980. His body was never found. I hung up, started drinking again that night. I sat in the kitchen, one eye on the cellar door. The chair I'd propped against it had been moved, just slightly, an inch or two, enough to doubt myself. That night, the voice came again.
I remember the stars. Do you?
I didn't respond. I pressed my back against the far wall and held a kitchen knife in both hands. There was no wind, no storm, just the sound of the clock ticking and the cold voice rising from the darkness.
I'll give you everything. No more pain, no fear, just warmth.
I should have left then, driven away and never looked back, but I didn't. Something about the voice, it was terrible, yes, but also lonely, like a child locked in a closet for too long. I started to wonder, what if someone really was trapped down there? What if Everett Kane had gone insane and locked someone in? The next morning, I opened the cellar door. It creaked like a scream. The air was foul, damp, heavy, metallic. I grabbed the flashlight and descended the steps. Dust swirled in the beam. The walls were stone, older than the rest of the house. And at the far end, half hidden behind shelves of rusted cans, was another door, iron, padlocked. The lock was ancient, but the chain was new. That should have stopped me. I cut the chain with bolt cutters from the shed. The moment it dropped, the cold intensified. My breath fogged in the air. I turned the knob, pushed the door open. The room beyond was pitch black. I stepped inside. My light flickered. And then I saw him, curled in the corner, skeletal, eyes sunken and glowing faintly red. His skin was tight against his bones, lips blackened and cracked. His nails had grown into claws. He looked up, smiled.
Thank you.
He rasped. I stumbled back, slammed the door, but it was too late. I heard the sound, bones cracking, tendons snapping, muscles reawakening after decades of sleep. I ran. I locked the cellar door, nailed it shut, moved the stove in front of it. But at midnight, I heard him again.
You opened the door.
He said softly. I didn't see him, but I felt him. Cold air brushing my neck, a whisper in my ear.
I'm so thirsty.
I passed out from fear. When I woke, it was noon. The house was silent, the cellar door untouched, but the floor was wet, with footprints, bare, leading from the kitchen to the stairs. I checked my neck, 2 small punctures. No pain, just emptiness, like something had been taken and left nothing behind. Since then, he visits every night. I don't see him, not really, just the flicker of movement in the mirror, the feeling of cold fingers brushing my chest. I'm wasting away, eating but never full, drinking but always parched. I should leave, burn the place, but I don't. I can't. Because I invited him, not with words, but with curiosity, with pity. That was all it took. He lives in me now. I feel him crawling behind my eyes when I look at other people, their warmth, their life, their blood, and the thirst. It's unbearable. I used to walk home late. I liked the quiet. The streets in my neighborhood were safe, mostly retirees, sleepy dogs, porch lights flickering in yellow halos. It felt like the kind of place nightmares forgot. But that changed 3 weeks ago. I haven't walked home since. It started with the street lamp. There's one street lamp on Willow Lane that flickers, not broken, not steady, just pulsing, like it's breathing. I always passed under it without thinking, until the night I saw her standing beneath it. She was barefoot, wearing a long coat, dark hair hanging like wet seaweed. I thought maybe she was lost or hurt. She just stood there, head bowed, arms at her sides. "Miss?" I called. "You okay?" She didn't respond. I stepped closer. The air around the lamplight felt colder, the silence somehow heavier. She looked up. I froze. Her eyes, they didn't shine. They absorbed light, the way deep water does. Her skin was pale, too smooth, and her lips, dark red, like dried blood.
You can see me?
Her voice was soft, curious, not angry. I nodded. She smiled, I wish she hadn't. From that night on, she was always there, under that flickering lamp, waiting. At first, I crossed the street. Then I started taking a different route. But every few nights, I'd pass by just to see if she was still there. And she always was. Unmoving, unblinking, watching. One night, I stayed late at the office, got distracted. I wasn't paying attention until I found myself under that familiar flickering glow. And she was close this time, right in front of me.
Why are you afraid?
She asked. I'm not, I lied.
Your blood smells like you are afraid.
She said. I tried to step back, but my feet wouldn't move. My body locked up like a machine filled with ice. She leaned closer.
Most walk by without ever noticing, but you noticed.
She whispered. I turned and ran. That night, I dreamed of her standing over me, mouth open, fangs exposed, not the elegant kind from movies, but jagged, yellow, almost animalistic. She whispered in a language I didn't know, but my bones understood. I woke up gasping, my neck cold. I checked the mirror, no bite, just 2 faint bruises. Over the next few days, I changed. I stopped eating. My skin itched. My pupils dilated at night. I smelled things I shouldn't. Rats beneath the floor, metal in people's veins, the perfume of old graves on the wind. I started watching people, tracking their pulse in their throats. The joggers in the park, the waitress at the cafe. I didn't want to, but I couldn't stop. Then I saw her again, in my house. She was sitting at the kitchen table like she belonged there, one hand on a teacup. Why me? I asked.
Because you are lonely, and loneliness calls louder than screams.
I didn't invite you. She smiled again.
You did. That first night, when you looked back.
I didn't argue. She was right. Some part of me had been drawn to her. The danger, the mystery, the sheer wrongness of her. She stood, walked over, and touched my chest.
I'm not here to kill you, I'm here to offer you freedom. From being old, from being afraid. The world is dying, little by little, but we stay.
I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. She bit my neck, hard. It hurt like fire. I collapsed, dreamed of black oceans, of teeth in the dark, of blood like honey. I woke up 2 days later, alone. My heart beat slowly. My veins felt thick. The bruises on my neck were gone. But I knew I wasn't human anymore, not fully. And now I see them, not just her, them. They hide in plain sight. Bus drivers, janitors, cashiers. They don't sparkle. They don't burn in sunlight. But they're there, feeding in whispers, living between seconds. And once you see them, they see you. I don't sleep anymore. Not really. I sit by the window and watch the street lamp flicker. Sometimes she returns. We don't speak. She just stands beneath the light, like a lighthouse for the lost. And I am lost. But I'm not alone. I don't know if I'll ever bite someone. I don't want to. Not yet, but the thirst is there. It hums in my teeth. It whispers in my dreams. She was right. Loneliness is louder than screams. And now I'm listening. Always listening.